So basically, we're looking for the cargo size that we need, so that we can do it in the number of days that is given, right? We know the upper bound and the upper bound and the lower bound. The lower bound is like the max of the weights, right? Because if you have a capacity less than the max, then you can't that biggest item you can't put it in the ship. And the upper bound would be the sum of everything, because if you're yeah, so that would be like 1 day to take everything, and the days has to be greater than one, so you have the sum of everything. So guess call it left of your binary search. I'll just set it to nothing for now, and the right would be the max. So I guess I'll set it to 0 and it'll change, and then the right would be the sum of everything. So also 0, and I'll just be adding on top of that. So I'm looping through every weights. So for each weight and weights, uh, yeah. So there's two checks, checking if it's bigger than the left. The left would be like the max weight, and the right would be sum of weights. So if the weight is bigger than the left, because that's a max, and the left becomes the weight. And then for the right, this one we just increment by W. And I think that basically does the check properly. I'll just print it just to make sure. So 10, 15, 55. Yeah, makes sense. 10 is the biggest one. 55 here, they're all incrementing. So 10 times 11 divided by 2, that's 55. So it's working as expected. So now we want to binary search around these two, and we want to figure out when to check left and when to check right. So basic condition is while left is not equal to right. The mid is just left plus right divided by 2. Okay, so how do I know to check right or check left? So let's say I have a capacity that's too big. So it's going to take me not as many days. So I could shrink the capacity if it took me not that many days. And if the capacity is too small, it's going to take me too many days. So if there's too many days, I need to increase the capacity. So that'd be check right. So check left if capacity too big. Yeah, well, it makes sense because that's the mid is kind of is the capacity. Yeah. So I want to figure out the number of days it'll take to empty the weights given a certain capacity mid. I think I'll just make this into an external function. Just why not? Maybe call it num days, provided the weights array and the capacity. I want it to return me the minimum number of days it'll take. So to do that, I guess let's start with days equals to 0. Iterate through all the weights. So we got a capacity. I guess currently 8, I guess. So I want an increment on top of the current weight, and then the moment it exceeds, that's when we have to start a new day. So yeah. For the weight, I want to add the weight. And at which point do I go over? So yeah, so if I guess the current weight is greater than capacity, then that means that the number of days is going to have to increment. And the current weight is going to become the weight that we just added because it couldn't go into that day. So it like restarts from 0 and we add this weight. So it comes down to the same thing. And then at the end of this loop, you'd have the number of days. Yeah. I don't know if there's a faster way of doing this. I was thinking about doing a running sum on like the array. I don't know if that's going to be faster. But I don't care. So capacity too small, it means the capacity is too big. Too big, it means that it took less days than we wanted. So that means less days than target. So yeah. So this would be the opposite, more days than target. Yeah, so that means that if the number of days is less than days, and the number of days is a function taking the weights and the capacity mid, and this would be the opposite. And bigger than the number of days. Uh, there's a case where it's equal, but I'm not sure yet. Maybe it's one of them that has to switch. Well, if it's equal, we could try to shrink it actually. We wouldn't want to increase the capacity, but there's a chance we could have shrunk the capacity. So this is the case where I check left. So checking left is shrinking the capacity. Yeah. So here I would, checking left means you're changing the right. So the right is going to be equal to mid. Yep. And then checking left, checking right means that left is going to become mid plus 1. So if you check left, it means that capacity is too big. There's less days. The more days is the point where it could have been an answer, just like this one. Oh, wait, actually, no, it's a less days because this one could have been done in 3 days. Because day 1 and day 2, if you look at it, takes 1 and 2, but the capacity was 3. So this could have been 1 day. So this whole thing could have been done in 3 days. Yeah. Yeah, it could have been done in 3 days. So if there's less days, crap. Yeah, if you do it in 3 days, it means you could have done it in more days. So less days than the target means that could have been, yeah, this is a potential answer. And we're trying to shrink it to see if it's possible. So this becomes a potential answer here. So I guess the last one, I'll just set it to what? I'll just put it to like max value for now, just because I'm lazy. But here we found a potential answer. I guess we'll check set the last to the mid, and then maybe that was an answer. Actually, last maybe I'll make it right. Uh, so probably I'd be after this point where right is actually initialized to its correct value. So right is the sum of the weights, so that's the biggest one it could have been. And we're just trying to see if we can go smaller. Yeah, so here we found something smaller, and then you check left to see if there's something even smaller. So then at the end, you'd return last. Does that work? Hmm. Oh, length. Okay. I'll put 11. Could it have been done in 11 days? Oh no, it's capacity 11. What would happen if the capacity was 11? Hmm. So you'd have 1, 2, so that's 3, 6, 10. So that'd be 1 day. And then 6. You can't go to 7 because 7's too heavy. So 7. And then you go 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 days. No. Maybe this num days is not working properly, so I'll write something to test it out. So what would happen if I wanted the number of days that it waits at a capacity of 11? Okay, 5 days. So that's accurate actually. Wait, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's actually not accurate. Why? The current weight is 0. I add 1, 2, 3, 4, so that gives 10. And then what's gonna happen when I'm gonna try to add 6? It's gonna go over. It's gonna go to 16, which is greater than capacity. So then that becomes 1 day. But it's actually 2 days. So I think here the days have to start at 1, and that would fix the num days to work properly. Oh, let's go. Please work. Hog. Oh, shitty runtime though. But I don't care. I solved it.